18 to 22. Listen to a conversation between a student and a university employee.
Hi, I need to talk to someone about my meal card.
Your meal card, is there a problem with it?
No, not exactly. It's just that I haven't really been using it. So I'm wondering what to do next semester and…
Okay. First, can you give me your card, please? Did you know you have 60 meals left on your account? And there are only 2.5 weeks to go in the semester. So why haven't you used them? Wait, let me guess. You live off campus, right?
Well, no, actually. In fact, I live in Barnard Dormitory, just next door. The problem is that I'm so busy with classes and work that I don't have time to get to the cafeteria. I'm always on the east side of campus for classes, and my job is on the opposite end of town, near the Westgate Mall.
Ah, I see. Do you work at the mall?
No, at an Italian restaurant close by. That's another thing. Since I work at a restaurant, I get free dinners every night at the end of my shift.
It's probably none of my business, but why did you buy such a big meal plan if you're never around?
Well, you see, I didn't get the job until mid-semester, so I wasn't planning on being all over the place so much. On top of that, I picked up a couple of audit classes about a month after the term began. I really didn't expect my schedule to be so full. I literally don't have time to breathe.
I see. Well, you might want to adjust your meal plan then.
Can I do that?
Sure you can. There are 3 options. The full meal plan that you are on now, and then there is the part-time plan, which is 1 meal per day, 6 days per week. And finally, well, of course, there's the cash option. You're actually not required to participate in a plan per se. It's just that most students like to take advantage of the discounted rate. It's a little more expensive to pay with cash on a meal-by-meal basis.
What a relief. I thought students who lived in dorms had to participate in the meal plan. You know what, though? I'm guessing it's probably way too late in the semester to do anything about it for this term.
I don't think so. We're pretty lenient with students.
If I'm able to change my plan for this semester, could I possibly get a refund for the meals I haven't used?
No. I think a refund wouldn't be likely. But you could definitely get the unused credit transferred to the fall. You don't lose value just because the semester ends. So, well, theoretically, you could keep using your card indefinitely, as long as you're enrolled as a student here, that is.
Basically, I can change my plan and keep the balance? I mean, it seems like I wouldn't be really losing or gaining anything either way.
Exactly. And if your schedule changes in the future, you can just switch again if you need to.
So, can I make the switch now?
You're allowed to do that only between semesters when you enroll.
That's good to know. Thanks. You've been a big help.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 18. What is the woman's problem? (19) According to the conversation, what are 2 reasons the student does not eat at the cafeteria often?
Listen again to part of the conversation. Then answer the question.
Well, you see, I didn't get the job until mid-semester, so I wasn't planning on being all over the place so much. On top of that, I picked up a couple of audit classes about a month after the term began. I really didn't expect my schedule to be so full. I literally don't have time to breathe.
20. Why does the woman say this?
I literally don't have time to breathe.
21. What does the service center worker suggest the student do? Twenty-two. What does the service center worker imply about the school's meal plan?
(29 to 34). Listen to part of a lecture in a chemistry class.
Today, I'd like to continue our exploration of the alkaline earth metals by talking about a certain type of metal that forms the common soda can. Soda cans are made of an aluminum-magnesium alloy. The magnesium is what gives the can its strength, and this use as an alloying agent is one of the most common applications of magnesium. It has a wide range of uses, though, from industrial to final consumption goods. The amount of magnesium produced and consumed has increased considerably since the 1960s. Today, worldwide production of magnesium is close to 600,000 tons. Now, the manufacturing processes that have made this level of production possible have also evolved. But basically, there are two main processes. The first uses electrolysis. Essentially, this involves passing electricity through elements that are fused or bonded together into compounds in order to separate them. As you know, metals and other elements are almost never found in their pure form. When you pass electricity through these compounds, it causes the elements to separate. The second process uses thermal reduction. Please understand that reduction is a chemistry term. It means to separate from impurities. This is achieved by using a reducing agent, a chemical that reduces metal from mineral ore. Actually, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's more important that you grasp the overall production process rather than the technical details, which you can pick up through your reading. Let's go into more detail about electrolysis. Can a metal such as magnesium be obtained from seawater? Yes, it can. The whole thing starts with seawater. We make a conducting solution by adding chemicals to the seawater. The solution is then refined, and then allowed to dry to obtain a solid piece of magnesium chloride. The solid is then melted down, and an electric current is passed through it to separate the two elements of the compound, the liquid magnesium and the chlorine gas. In the last stage, the liquid magnesium metal is further refined, and then it's processed for other uses. 1 pound of magnesium can be extracted for every 100 gallons of seawater. This may not sound like a good ratio, but seawater is plentiful, so you can imagine that there is almost a limitless supply of magnesium. But there's a catch. The electrolytic process requires 35 to 40 megawatts of electricity for every ton of magnesium. Can anyone conceptualize this figure? Well, 1 megawatt represents enough electrical capacity to supply 1,000 U.S. households with electricity for 1 month. So, for every ton of magnesium produced, you could power 35,000 to 40,000 households for a month. So, even when seawater is accessible, the electrical capacity of a country can be a barrier to magnesium production. The other method, thermal reduction process, this process allows almost any country to become a major producer of magnesium. For one, even though the total energy requirements are about the same as the electrolytic process, thermal reduction needs mainly heat energy. So, there are potential cost savings from using cheaper fuel sources, such as coal. The other advantage is that it allows all countries, even landlocked nations, countries without coasts, to become major magnesium producers, because the mineral ore containing magnesium is easily obtained from the Earth's crust. Magnesium is the 8th most abundant mineral and can be found in over 60 types of rocks. So, with the thermal reduction process, about 6 tons of ore is required to produce a ton of magnesium.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 29. What is the lecture mainly about?
30. In the lecture, the professor describes the process for producing magnesium from seawater. Put the steps listed below in the correct order.
31. According to the professor, why does the thermal reduction process allow almost any country to produce magnesium?
'Listen again to part of the lecture. Then answer the question.
This is achieved by using a reducing agent, a chemical that reduces metal from mineral ore. Actually, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's more important that you grasp the overall production process rather than the technical details, which you can pick up through your reading.
32. What does the professor mean when she says this?
It's more important that you grasp the overall production process rather than the technical details.
33. What can be inferred about a coastal country that does not produce magnesium?
'Listen again to part of the lecture. Then answer the question.
But there's a catch. The electrolytic process requires 35 to 40 megawatts of electricity for every ton of magnesium. Can anyone conceptualize this figure?
34. Why does the professor say this?
Can anyone conceptualize this figure?